B1 family, welcome to Black Logic. This evening, we'll be talking about the whitewashed Black media and some of those people who have been dwelling within it and no longer are in it. They've lost their jobs, they've lost their career. And one gentleman in question, when it comes to Don Lemon, he got the bag, at least on the way out. I think they gave him around $24 million. Okay. For you guys who don't know, April is the new Black Media Appreciation Month. I believe that Professor Black Truth first came out with this last year, if I can recall correctly, either within the last year or the last 2 years. And it's important that we recognize this month and appreciate all of those who dwell within the Black media to bring you truth to power, to give you guys Black empowerment, and not to confuse you how mass media and other exoteric groups who are not for the empowerment of our people. And when we talk about these things, you're going to have a lot of people within your community as well as from other communities to try to be even more demonizers of Black people. For far too long, we have been led to believe that the mass media, these outlets have had our best interests at heart. But the reality is they've been leading us to slaughter. They have been, but dividing us on social and political issues, right? It's either social issues, political issues. And then if I played this clip of this one of our elders speaking about religion, how religion is even divided us. But for the most part, for Black Americans, I would say over 85% of them believe in the Christian, Baptist, Southern Baptist, Protestant sect of religion of Christianity. So we have all these different forms of separation. And it has not done our people any good. See, the reality is that these people continuously do the same thing over and over again, and it has been working. The ones we're referring to, family, are the ones who have mostly sided with the Democratic Party. Yeah, you're going to have your one-off like Candace Owens. You're going to have them every now and again, but the biggest trick here are those who dwell within the Democratic Party, promising us change and progress, but delivering nothing substantial for our community. It's time to wake up. Because Obama promised us hope. And as Dick Gregory, and everybody was calling Dick Gregory a hack. No, Dick Gregory was speaking truth to power. He said, what the hell are we going to do with hope? Can hope feed your family? And all of us was hoping for 8 years, either directly or indirectly or through someone. We were hoping because of Obama for 8 years. And then people, and when you ask what Obama has done in office for foundational Black Americans, the only thing they can come up with is Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act. And then when you state that affordable health care helped everybody, oh, well, he wasn't racist. And that's essentially all we get. See, a lot of times, family, is not what somebody says to you, but it's their actions. So the Democratic Party has continuously lied through us. They've lied through us through Democratic shields. They've lied through us through Democratic shields. But before we get into it, family, I just wanted to kind of work my way into this. I want to cover a couple of things that has been happening around the nation, starting with the Key Bridge. B1. I just want to thank all those in the new Black media who's giving truth to power. I really want to point that out. Okay, I really want to point that out before I even get started here. Now, first, we're going to talk about the Key Bridge, because there's been some plebiscite babble. There's been some sort of conjecture, even out of the new Black media. I think I've heard, someone dwelling around it could possibly be a terrorist attack. And family, listen, we can allude to a lot of things, but gathering all the information, I can't come to the conclusion that this was some sort of terrorist attack. I just can't come to the conclusion. I was speaking to my brother earlier today, and I was stating, you know, how when people come up with these theories and they post them all over social media, and it really depends on how influential that person is, people take the stories and run with it. Then you start hearing all sorts of rumors within the government. It's like the ship crashed into the, Francis Key Scott Bridge at the same time the solar eclipse was illuminating the sky during Orion's belt. You'd be like, what? Huh? The same name of the ship is part of the galaxy. I just can't do it. I just can't do it, because that means that every single thing will be a conspiracy. Every single thing. But very quickly, I had some things highlighted. Let me see. Where am I at here? Where am I at? Give me a second, family. Give me a sec. I just want to get to the nitty-gritty of it all. Okay. How important is the Baltimore Port of Trade? It states here that it is the 9th largest U.S. Port when it comes to trade and volume. It handles all of these different commodities of America: automobiles, machinery, agriculture, equipment, liquefied natural gas, and sugar. And last year brought in 50 million tons worth $80 billion. Okay. Then it states here, what is the economic cost of the bridge collapse? State and federal officials estimated the port's closure will cost the economy as much as $15 million per day. $15 million per day. That's what it's costing the country. Additionally, the port directly supports more than 15,000 jobs. 15,000 jobs, with an additional 140,000 jobs on port activity overall, according to the governor of Maryland. And so my brother and I was speaking about this, and I was like, I just don't. He said, well, the federal government, that's what he said. He did this. He was bucking his eyes. He said, the federal government is now giving federal funds to build back the bridge. I said, well, yeah. This is not just importing and exporting commodities just for Baltimore. This is the 9th largest by volume port in America. This is America's port. This is not just Baltimore's port. Huh? Of course the federal government, because here's the thing. The federal government has their hands in all sorts of business. And logistics is one of them. They have contractors, they have permanent personnel. So that port is just important than any other port to America. And they're losing $15 million per day. Now, that is my bias. I do not believe it's a terrorist attack. And as I told you guys before, all media is propaganda. All media. Yeah, brother, but people will be speaking the truth. Yes. And sometimes the things are factual and the truth, and there's no wiggling around it. But if someone gives you anything outside the lines of the truth, that's when it becomes propaganda, right? They tell you a piece of truth, and then they allude and lean to other things. It kind of reminds me of Candace Owens. Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, family. Now, Ice Cube made some claims. He stated that American record labels encourage criminal activity. Now, I just wanted to point this out just in case you guys didn't know. I just thought this was very interesting. Okay, that's our brother Ice Cube. I know some people are on the fence about him ever since his black contract with America. I thought for the most part, it was pretty good. I mean, it could have been better, but someone did something, and then he changed his tone and started running around with, suspected white supremacists and everything else like that. But anyway, let me see here. He made a claim here. Let me get back to that part. It was very important. Here we go. Ice Cube states, he says that the same people who own the record companies, the record labels, listen to this. He says he told the pundit that the proof when you follow the money. That's what Cube said. When you follow the money, there lies the proof. And that's true. Saying that following the money shows that some of the owners of record labels also own private prisons. Now, who knew that? I didn't know, family, but that's why I had to tell you guys, okay? That's why I just let you guys know. And then lastly here, of some of these hot stories I just kind of want you guys to be aware of. I know you guys are aware of the different countries that are now joining the BRICS. Now, I'll let the statistics show you how important the BRICS is going to be here in the next 10 years and how scary it can get for America. And I'm not trying to fearmonger anyone. But the more countries that join the BRICS, believe it or not, is slowly devaluing the American dollar. Because right now, the American dollar is the international currency. All right. So what is the group and which countries have joined? All right. I have it highlighted. There we go. It popped up this time. Here are the new additions to the BRICS. Egypt, Ethiopia. What? Very, very important because they're on the coast. Import, export. Iran, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. Don't forget, for a very long time, America has been in business with Saudi Arabia, especially with oil. Even though we are producing and fracking all sorts of oil, we've broken records in the past 2 or 3 years because of the oil. Okay, we still have our reserves in Alaska, but we were still buying oil from Saudi Arabia. Now they're joining the BRICS. What has happened in the past month? Have you guys seen your oil prices rise by the way of your natural gas, by the way of the gas when you go to a gas station? Have you guys seen that? Have you seen the national average of gas go up? See, it does take time for things to trickle through the economy. So they joined in January. Here we are in April, and gas prices been up for a month. Am I speaking am I saying conspiracy? Am I speaking in conjecture? Family, I'm just, drawing the dots and connecting them. I'm actually drawing the dots and then connecting them. That's all I'm doing. I could be totally false, but maybe there's going to be some backdoor deals where we can, do some business with some of these sheiks out of Saudi Arabia and get the gas prices back down. But it's no surprise that when I saw they were joining the BRICS, now gas is up in February or late February now all through March. And yeah, family, it went really up, then it came back down and went really up again. Okay. That's what I wanted to show you guys. That's all. Let's move on. Now, Comedy Hype did a really good interview here. Not an interview, I'm sorry. A really good piece here. And it's speaking about Canizons. And I spoke about Canizon, and I told you before, I normally don't go directly at people, but I'm just using her and some other people from the whitewash black media as examples. Okay. So we might see a good amount of this because it's important for us to recall, because I have been receiving comments of people being on code. Oh yeah, I said it. People being on code with Canizons, and the only thing they keep saying is she's really smart. I changed my thoughts on it. Hold on. Let me get back here. This is very alarming, family. Here's a comment right here. Let me blow it. Can I blow that up? Nope. I'll just keep it right here. I don't know if I'll read it for you. I'll be honest. I've never really listened to her before because I felt some kind of way about what I've heard about her. My thoughts have changed. She sounds very intelligent based on what I'm hearing in this interview. Family, let me tell you something. I profess to you here and right now, I've got a few of these same exact comments on the Candace Owen video I did. Oh, she's very smart. I agree with a lot of things. She makes some really good points. Can I ask you guys one question? If you ever went to black church before, if you ever went to black church and you actually learned something out of black church, here's my question to you. Does the devil tell the truth or does he always lie? Uh-oh. What the pastor say? Let's wake it up in here. Does the devil ever tell the truth or does he always lie? In order for the devil to continue to lie to you and believe it, he tells the truth every now and again, doesn't he? Doesn't he? Doesn't the devil tell you the truth every now and again so he can keep continuing to lie to you? That's what people are not understanding. Let me let you guys this here a little bit about this. Okay, fair use for media commentary, fair use.
She's typically involved in. And some even dare to say she's invited to the cookout. However, despite the mixed reviews of the interview, it appears like some individuals weren't fazed by Owen's lighthearted interview. Comedian D.L. Hughley would immediately take to social media to share a message. He would post, "So Candace Owens, who said the police officer didn't kill George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery was a hoax, Breonna Taylor was a drug dealer who caused her own death, and they only lynched about 3,500, that wasn't really a lot based on the population, is now okay because she knew the lyrics to the Fresh Prince?" Now, Hughley would follow that post up with a headline from the Shade Room that reported Owens firing from the Daily Wire for allegedly promoting anti-Semitism. About the same story, Hughley would say, "Well, so what y'all got going on this Sunday? You'll find out just how black you are one way or another." Almost alluding to Paul Mooney's famous words, "Candace Owens got her N-word wake-up call." But he wouldn't stop there. In a completely separate post, he would share several clips of Candace Owens' most controversial opinions over the last few years. Those comments included claiming that Juneteenth is ghetto and made up, discrediting the deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, and so much more. So let's take a look at what some people may have forgotten Candace,
which is what Breonna Taylor was actually doing, trailing her, that her name was on the warrant when they showed up at her place. Everything the media told you was a lie. The police officers had every right to be at her property. They had been monitoring that property for weeks. They were moving drugs, and Jamarcus Glover was the person who was at the center of it. You were told that the police officer shot her while she was asleep. No, she was standing in a hallway. It was not an accident, okay? She was knee deep.
Let me tell you guys something very quickly. See, the devil, and I'm not calling Candace Owens the devil for the internet. I'm not calling her the devil. But the devil doesn't come to you red with horns on. That the devil comes to you very handsome, very pretty, very intelligent, very convincing. How can the devil be dumb? How can the devil be dumb and be so conniving and deceitful and continue to fool people to do evil over and over again? See, family, this is the problem that a lot of us have. We judge people based on what we see. Is Candace Owens a pretty woman? Yes, she is. She's very pretty. She's very pretty to me. That's my opinion. She's very pretty. Do Candace Owens' voice, does Candace Owens' voice sound intelligent and professional? Yes, it sounds. I didn't say her words. I didn't say her vernacular, her lexicon. The way that she stacks her rhetoric. Family, I'm painting a picture for you. As I said before, I'm making, you know, an example, but I'm not calling her any derogatory names, family. But what I'm saying is this is the same way that the devil does. The devil doesn't come to you ugly. The devil comes to you in the way that you want the devil to come. The devil comes to you in the way that you want the devil to come. What does that mean? A lot of times we know that the things that we're doing are wrong. We know they're wrong. But we may need a little push. We may need a little incentive in order to continue to do that wrong thing over and over again. So you have these Democratic shields, and then this is a Republican shield. And the way the Republicans deal with black folk, not all Republicans, not all conservatives, those who are in those, extreme right wing, especially in the political atmosphere, it's people like Candace Owens that they get in order to denigrate black people. Listen in, family. I really want you guys to listen
in drugs. They fired first. They shot a police officer, and I shouldn't say
the redheads get something, right? You know, they're the true minority that nobody talks about. Ariel, who had beautiful long red hair. It was actually one of my favorite movies. I was a big Disney child. Nothing can be left as it is, and they are now producing a mermaid movie in which Ariel is black. It's not common for black people to have red hair. It is, in fact, a Nordic trait, but they're going to make her black because everything must be black.
I want to come out and say that I do not support George Floyd and the media depiction of him as a martyr for Black America. I have spent a considerable amount of time reading a lot of Black authors, Walter Williams, Shelby Steele, Thomas Sowell. I recently came across something that was an idea that was planted into my head by Shelby Steele. It is something that will stick with me for the rest of my life. And it is something that I hope for the Black Americans that are watching will stick with you for the rest of your life. The Black community is unique from other communities. Our culture is unique from other communities. We are the only community that caters to the bottom denominator of our society.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
You wouldn't
That's
have done
not
that
who I
before.
am. That's
No.
not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has
But
created.
I'm
So you can see why the left loved that clip and why they're now calling Charlie Kirk, who I worked for and with for years, an avowed racist. He says that that's going to be his first thought if he sees a black pilot. You know what? I said the exact same thing on this show. I remarked that now when I even...
Did you guys hear her? Trigger warning. Okay, did you guys hear her, family? She said the exact same thing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Charlie Kirk, but he stated that if he sees a black pilot, can I back that up for you guys? And then Candace Owens came out and said, I said the exact same thing. That's what she said, family. I'm just searching. Give me a second here. That's what she said.
be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
You wouldn't
That's
have done
not
that
who I
before.
am. That's
No.
not what I believe.
It is the reality.
Qualified.
You wouldn't
That's
have done
not.
that.
Denominator of our society.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
You wouldn't
That's
have done
not
that
who I
before.
am. That's
No.
not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has
But
created.
I'm
So you can see why the left loved that clip and why they're now calling Charlie Kirk, who I worked for and with for years, an avowed racist. He says that that's going to be his first thought if he sees a black pilot. You know what? I said the exact same thing on this show. I remarked that now when I even am watching a commercial and I see a black person, and Hispanic person, and an Asian person, my thought process is, did they just get this because DEI?
The actually worst thing to be in this.
I don't know if I should let this play, family. Fair use, fair use. I know we've already destroyed Candace Owens, and I already told you her black card got revoked. I've seen other videos where they say you can't come back to the black community. This is the problem with the whitewashed black media, family. They say all of these things, and all of a sudden you have these new generations or people who are not familiar with these people because they haven't been following politics, social issues, nothing. They just been in their little silos. They've been in their little silos, and now they're popping their head out, and they believe that Candace Owens on code. She's on code with the white supremacist system.
society, if one thing I would not want to be is a straight white male. For some reason, that's considered problematic. They're lying on college applications. They're like, okay, I'm white, but I'm also trans. And you're like, what? Because, oh, I don't want people to think I'm too normal, right? And people, they're just trying to find something that makes them not white. It's really staggering.
I know. I'm just gonna let the cat out the bag, family. By the way, her husband is white, but I'm pretty sure you guessed it.
That is exactly what the experience was for a Black American, that being a Black American was so problematic. Now you have the exact same thing happening reverse, and you have liberals trying to convince you that that's equality. All lives matter, and that's including white lives matter,
Now, unfortunately, the comment.
Yeah, and so you guys understand where I'm coming from with that. I'm not into people's business as far as who they're married to, right? I'm not getting on the Dr. Umar train. But I had to point that out. I just had to point out her husband is white. Okay, let's move on. Now, Candace Owens, I think I have something. Give me 1 second here. She was stating here how George Floyd is a criminal and a drug addicted, and she was basically making all of these claims that George Floyd died from an overdose. Right? That new information came out. And I'm going to show you that new news right after this.
You strike the record, not my opinion, definitely a fact. It does mean that I am not going to play a part of the broken Black culture that always wants to martyr criminals. Why are we pretending that this criminal should be upheld as a citizen, as a martyr in Black America? So this entire narrative is complete smoke and mirrors. It's all made up. It's just election fodder. It's white versus Black because it's an election year, not because Black Americans are suffering at the hands of police officers more than white Americans.
Candace Owens, that rotten. She's the worst. I can't think of a worse way to make money. She's the most articulate idiot.
I didn't make money on that video.
She's so articulate. She tell you how stupid she is precisely. They killed him, and that wasn't right, so he's the guy. We're not desperate for heroes in the Black community. Any nigga that survives this nightmare is my goddamned hero.
So first and foremost, that video, it's still, is #1 most viral video that I've ever done, which shocked me. I mean, it was such a casual thing. I was sitting up there talking to my husband outside in DC, and I was just like, I can't even stand this anymore. It's a bizarre thing to me because I've grown up with uncles that are addicted to drugs. It's very weird to me to try to turn somebody who is a drug addict, turn somebody who is a criminal into a martyr. It's very weird that there are murals and statues erected of George Floyd at the same time that they're fighting having a statue erected of Clarence Thomas. It is really a symptom of how cancerous the Black community has become. So I'm talking to my husband about it, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to allow this lie to make its way around the world. And I just ranted. Literally, I was sitting on the floor in our guest bedroom, and I just ranted, felt like it was a blink, went upstairs. I think I took a nap, and the video went viral is an understatement. 100 million views. It was insane. It was everywhere. People contacting me from Turkey, from the UK, from Australia. I mean, celebrities everywhere were contacting me. And the #1 sentiment was thank you, because they had actually bought into the media narrative, because they were just seeing every night, this is what's happening to Black men in America. This is happening with Black men. And nobody had talked about the fact that this guy was a career criminal. It is very hard to get arrested 9 times, to spend 9 times in jail and in prison before you turn 40. Like, that is the one remarkable thing that George Floyd did, is that he was able to spend that much time in prison before he even turned 40. This man was a drug addict. I mean, he died of drug overdose. Everyone wants to pretend he didn't. He did. He was obviously having a drug overdose. What role Derek Chauvin played in not stopping or getting him the help he needed can be a matter of debate, but there's no question that fentanyl in your system 50 to 100 times more deadly than morphine. Nobody wants to talk about that stuff. So I just wasn't going to allow that narrative to get out because it's just.
Well, that's the point about she did a counter narrative, family. If you notice, she was denigrating the Black community the entire time, and she didn't have to do that. She could have said some people. I really want you guys to, and I said, please listen to this, because when you analyze the way she speaks, she is speaking as a white supremacist. I don't care of anyone's past. This is what the white supremacists do anytime they demonize one of our people because they kill them. They did the same thing with Trayvon Martin. Oh, last week he had a dime bag of weed on him. What was Trayvon Martin doing before George Zimmerman took his life? What was Trayvon Martin doing? Wasn't he on the phone with his girlfriend? You see, family? Unarmed. The police dispatcher told George Zimmerman to stay where you are, but he disobeyed it. And again, they're not police officers. He doesn't have to follow her orders. But she gave the advisement of stay where you are. Wait till authorities get on the scene. They tried to demonize Trayvon Martin. She already demonized and transformed a different narrative about Breonna Taylor. But this is one of the biggest lies that she told about George Floyd. See, here's the thing, family. When they kill us, they want to go back into your jacket because, well, this person was speeding 3 times and hit a light pole. Anything negative on your record, they exploit it to make you look like you deserve whatever victimization that you received. And that is what she's doing to George Floyd right now. I don't care if George Floyd was knocked up 10 times because he got caught smoking crack. I don't care. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, this is coming from AP News. George Floyd's autopsy report is not new. Does not say he died of an overdose. They said it never changed. Where is it at? Give me a second here. I went too far. It says AP assessment, false. Social media users are sharing a page from the 20-page autopsy report that was publicized, released by the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office on June 3rd, 2020. It has not been changed since. It has not been changed since. While the page says he had fentanyl and meth in his system and did not have life-threatening injuries, the full report concludes Floyd died from cardiopulmonary arrest, not an overdose. But when they paint these narratives and you have black folk who just coming out their caves, you have black folk just coming out their silos, and because they see a pretty face in someone who sounds smarter than them, that is when they get on board, and that's the problem. We got shields, we got Republican shields, we got those black folk that look like us, and not to mention, family, Candace Owens' background comes from the Caribbean. She's not a foundational Black American. So, and the reason why we have to call these things out, because we have to understand, for them, these things are easy. They do not have a Black experience. They do not have a Black American experience. It's a difference. They get on code with those they grew up with and took their side. Now, let's see, as you see now, people are getting on board with Candace Owens. Because after she got fired, now she want to do interviews with Joe Budden. Now she want to do interviews with the Breakfast Club. And granted, I know she's been on there before, but the point is she's trying to re-image herself. She didn't try to re-image herself until she got fired. She said, and she said a lot of things, family. So this will point out a couple of things. The term ghetto, a poor urban area occupied primarily by minority groups. So anytime someone says a ghetto, people automatically think Black in America. So she knew exactly what she was saying. She was saying poor Black folk. She was saying poor Black folk. Okay. Don Lemon, y'all remember him. He was a Democratic shield for a very, very long time. And listen, in the system of white supremacy, they have all these different tools. They have all these different shields. They have all these people who put on the cape and speak down to or tell black people they're stupid and listen to us. We're the smart ones. We're the smart ones. Vote for the Democrats. And then you'll have those who will be on the side of Candace Owens because they are so-called, believe they're intellectuals, that gives you news. Because here's the thing, families, we have to understand that social media within itself is media. It is the news. And as I told you before, the media is propaganda, whether it be constructive or non-constructive, whether it be truth or lies. Because anytime you're speaking to me or anyone else, there is bias within that content. But at least someone like myself, I want to point those things out because it's very important. Don Lemon, for a very long time, has sold the Democratic Party to black folks. He was on primetime television, right? I think it was anywhere between 6 and 8 p.m. where everybody's home and everybody see Don Lemon. Then they moved him to the morning show and gave him two co-hosts. That was a tall tale sign that Don Lemon was on his way out. And then shortly after that, they were just waiting because they knew he was going to say something improper that they didn't agree with, or it could have been a setup. Who knows? The ladies on a panel could have set him up, but then he was fired. They gave him about 24, 23 million. Instead of Don Lemon going to a nice, beautiful island, him and his white husband. I understand. You love media. You love being a Democratic shield. Then his first interview was to sit down with Elon Musk. And I don't really care how he treated Elon Musk. I don't care. We understand that Elon Musk, he's a suspected white supremacist. Just look at all the racial cases they got in Tesla family. And then even Don Lemon asked him about that, and he tried to white explain his way out of it. But nonetheless, family, we have so many people who are benefiting off of black people's ignorance. They benefit off of black people's ignorance. And it has to stop. And I know you guys remember her, Tiffany Cross, MSNBC. Now they got some sort of podcast, her and a couple of, was it Andrew Gillum, her and Angela Rye, with no tomatoes and onions on the side. And they formed some sort of podcast. I get it. They're popular voices. They're popular figures. But here's the thing. They said all those things to and for black folk and continue to sort us for the Democratic Party. And now you hear some of them like, I'm an independent. So the whole time you was working for CNN, the whole time you was working for MSNBC, was you an independent? Or did you tell people to vote Democrat time and time again? Because a lot of black folk watch CNN and this NBC. That's how they understand the black vote. I guess there are some black people now watching Fox News. Maybe they want balance. Maybe they want lies. Or they want Angela Rye with tomatoes and onions on the side. No, I'm just kidding. Bars. I'm so corny. Roland Martin. Roland Martin is another one. Roland Martin is another Democratic shield because we understand that Roland Martin, this guy right here, he was fired because he said some anti-LGBT comments during the Super Bowl. He was tweeting it. Got them little Twitter fingers going, family. Got them little Twitter fingers going. Oh, yeah. Roly-poly Martin. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen to this. It states that CNN, and this was a long time ago, 2012, CNN said Wednesday it has suspended political analyst Roland Martin for regrettable and offensive tweets written during the Super Bowl that critics said appeared to call for violence against the LGBT community. This is what he said. If a dude at your Super Bowl party is hyped about David Beckham's H&M underwear ad, smack the ish out of him. Hashtag Super Bowl. Who the hell was the New England Patriots? They just showed up in a head-to-toe pink suit. Oh, he needs a visit from the team. Whoop that ass. He was calling against violence against the LGBT community. That's why CNN fired him. Then he was on News One. That didn't take off. You didn't have the power, the reach, and the money of CNN. And since he's been fired from CNN, he actually appeared on CNN a couple of times throughout the years. He's appearing on CNN. So they still using him. And that's why he continues to sell out the black community, family. That's why Roland Martin continues to sell out. And he's broke, by the way. There's been reports and rumors that come out that Roland Martin is broke, as he should be. And Roland Martin comes from a Haitian background. We got to call it out, family. And I have nothing against Caribbeans, Haitians, or nothing. But just like everybody, Black Americans, we got our tether class. I mean, scratch, not tether. Coon. Can I say that? I'm trying to figure out if I can say that or not. I don't know. I don't know if I can say it, family. Who cares? I don't know. But we have our class as well. And we call those people out. But we have to call them out as well. We have to call them out as well because we definitely do have a lot. I'm looking at your comments over here. I see everybody in the room this evening. Roy T, Jermaine Anderson. We got Leonard in here. Thank everyone for joining me this evening. Okay, thank everyone for joining me this evening. Yeah, I got some other things. Who was that? Who do we have here? Give me 1 second, family. I know you guys remember her right here. I know you guys remember Tiffany Cross, do you not? Do y'all remember her? I mean, truth be told, family, with the exception of Donna Brazile that was on CNN a long time ago, and Joy Reid, by the way, her family's from the Caribbean. Majority of the women on news, they've been very beautiful because that's one way that you can trick people. Because sometimes guys will listen to the news just to look at the woman. Tell me if I'm lying. Tell me if I'm lying. Some people ain't even listen for the news. They're like, man, she come on, but just listen to her, man. She cute. Why you think Candace Owens so popular? Now let me ask you this question. Do you believe? Do you believe if Candace Owens was unattractive, in fact, do you believe she would be as effective in tricking people if she wasn't? This is a question. Is this a question, family? Is this the question? I mean, when we look at the legislative graveyard, we have a bunch of broken promises from the Democratic Party. And it's by the way of these Democratic shills. The only thing we really hear are hollow words. The Democratic Party has played us like a fiddle, like a saxophone, like a piano, using our votes as leverage while neglecting the Black community needs. Because the only thing we hear out of the Democratic Party family is talk. And that's all we ever get in return. Where are these so-called tangible solutions that they want to render, that they want to give and render our vote? Where are the laws that uplift our people? Or we're going to just keep hearing white supremacists and racists and bigots inside of our comment section tell us we've been given everything, pull yourself up, or stop being lazy. But as soon as you start calling out how the system of white supremacy works and how oppression works and how it has been working and the things that have been done, such a long time ago. You guys got CRT, DEI, home skillet. And this is how you have to educate people. What does DEI mean? What does CRT mean? What does woke mean? So do you believe that DEI means Black people? Is that what you're stating? Because last time I checked, DEI was for everybody, white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, and other. That's what DEI for. CRT, same difference. Critical race theory. They're mentioning that. They're mentioning Black folk. This is what the media has done. This is what some of these so-called Democratic shield has pushed. And they've been playing this sort of tennis ball back and forth between the Republicans being racist and them undermining us and lying to us every 2 to 4 years about what the candidate they promote, and not going to do anything for Black America. That's the problem. April is the new Black Media Appreciation Month. And I believe this started last year, by the way, Professor Black Truth. Probably last 2 years or so. Family, we just have to be evidently aware of the construct of media, social media, and how influential it is. Not just on the conscious, but on the subconscious as well. Because in the realm of media, voices of power have emerged. There's a lot of new people on code in the Black media. And we are changing and challenging the status quo. And we're trying to empower and enlighten the masses. But you'll have people, you have the civil rights sort of mindset of these Democratic shills, these turncoats, these traitors, like a Roland Martin, a Candace Owens, and all other sorts of mainstream media giants, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, blah, blah, blah. See, these voices, like Roland Martin and Candace Owens, have become beacons of reputation for Black folk and have become tainted and diluted and complicit in the system that perpetuates our oppression. Because one talks to you as though they're going to do something for you and convince you to vote blue no matter who, while the other one takes up the size of the system of white supremacy and speak for their handlers and speak for their puppet masters. And some of you get on code with the coonery because maybe you grew up privileged, maybe you grew up better, or maybe you're the one who worked yourself out of the hood and ghetto, and so all the other Black people can do it because you did it. But you don't even understand the social construct. You don't understand the justice system. Not just what happened in the past, but what has been happening in the future. Think about it, family. There was a whole world turn up for George Floyd. It took the entire world to protest police brutality in order to get George Floyd, killer Derek Chauvin, to go to jail. Wow. Wow. See, that's one of the issues when I was looking at the Trayvon Martin case, family. When I was looking at the Trayvon Martin case, I said, that is exactly what we need. We need, when you compare the two, we need the same turnout that George Floyd had in order to get George Zimmerman behind bars for the unliving of Trayvon Martin. But fam, let me tell you this, the new Black media, we stand very tall in this. We stand 10 toes down in this. And we're very unapologetic about it. And we're unwavering. It's our mission, it's our duty, it's our pleasure to empower and inform and uplift our people. We're going to speak the truth, though. When we see something foul in the Black community, we're going to call it out. And if we're going to call ourselves out, you damn well know we're going to call out the system of white supremacy and the tether class that comes from other countries. And we're going to also call out our turncoat class in the Black community. When you look at some of these media outlets, like Roland Martin Unfiltered, Candace Owens, The Root, The Griot, The Breakfast Club, The Shade Room, all of these are generated systems to control the narrative and perspective of Black folk in order for you to create and do an action when they call for you to do it. And they do it through infotainment. They do it through infotainment. As we just saw, family, Hannah's on this right out lied. The coroner, the toxicologist, the coroner, whoever did the test on George Floyd, stated that no, he died from cardiopulmonary. But this is how they get to us, family. We really need to be on code ourselves. And you're going to have a lot of people hate. You're going to have a lot of people comment. Especially they use this social media bearer and put all types of stuff in my comments. I read them. I just like, okay. So, and listen, family, the more I receive them, the less I respond, you know, because I'm not emotionally charged by their comments, because I understand in order to keep this system that benefits the dominant society the most, you got to have people to back it up. You have to have people to help the foundation, support the foundation. You have to have that. So with that being said, family, you know where I'm going to be at. I've been called stupid because of the couch 2024. Okay, I'm stupid. I can tell you how stupid I am. I'm stupid enough to sit at home versus go and vote for the lesser of two stupid evils and still be in the same condition that I was in prior to that. Yeah, I'm definitely stupid. Now that I think about it, I'm definitely stupid. I'm not going to waste my time and vote for the lesser of two evils. One on one hand, the bigot in chief. The other one on hand is the redneck in chief. I don't pick one, and tell me what they've done. Well, Donald Trump, he gave more to HBCU. No, he gave the same amount. I did a video on that too. See, when you pull out the proof, family, ooh, they're a little bit butthurt, you know. Well, family, hey, Louis, you're gonna have to back up and watch the video from scratch, man. You missed majority of the video. And follow the logic. States that same for Tamir Rice. Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. Solomon D.Y. says the black bourgeoisies, correct. He said I was listening to Angela Rye for the exact reason. Okay. And our brother Black Alpha, yes, he did, royalty. Indeed, he did. I think I saw part of that broadcast. But anyway, family, thank you here for joining me here. So we had a good crowd in here. I guess I was rambling too much. People left. But nonetheless, that's the end, family. Thank you for joining me here. I see you guys on Friday. Okay, see you guys on Friday. And if you guys are noticing, I do release my shorts on my off days. So still hit up the channel, guys. Subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, hit the notification bell so you know anytime I release something. But definitely on my off days, whether it be Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I do release anywhere from 2 to 4 shorts. So check those out as well. I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have a great evening. Be one.